my loyal and intuitive Cancer friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. A Cancer, this week opens with a quiet restlessness that sits just beneath your gentle exterior. There's a sense that something unsaid is pressing against your ribs, a wordless question that lingers in the pauses of your conversations and the hush between distractions. You might notice how sensitive you feel to the energy around you, how easily the atmosphere shifts with a glance, a tone, a subtle change in someone's mood. There's a need for clarity, maybe even a craving for honesty, not only from others but from yourself. It's as if you're searching for a signal, some sign that it's safe to express what's been building inside. You might find yourself replaying old moments, wondering if you missed something, or if you're carrying a tension that isn't entirely your own. This week asks you to notice the difference between what you present and what you actually feel. The dissonance isn't an accusation, it's an invitation to come home to yourself quietly before you're called to speak your truth aloud. The Page of Swords arrives as a gentle mirror to your inner state. You're alert, mentally sharp, and perhaps a little more restless than usual. There's a curiosity flickering within you, a need to understand, to question, to draw lines between facts and feelings. This energy is neither combative nor boastful. Instead, it's the energy of someone who is just beginning to articulate their needs and boundaries. You may catch yourself thinking ahead, analyzing conversations before they happen, or rehearsing what you might say if given the chance. This isn't about confrontation, it's about preparation. Inside, you're holding onto thoughts you haven't spoken, ideas you're still testing out. There's a subtle tension between wanting to keep the peace and the urge to clarify what matters to you. Sometimes, your mind feels like it's racing ahead of your heart, trying to make sense of what you sense but cannot yet define. You might notice yourself feeling defensive at times, even if no one has challenged you. That defensiveness is simply the mind's way of guarding your tender spots while you find the words to express them. You care deeply about those around you, and yet you crave the freedom to speak your own mind. The Page of Swords doesn't demand action. It reflects a stage of gathering, sorting, and preparing. There's a youthful quality to this inner energy, a willingness to learn, a readiness to be surprised by what you discover about yourself. In private moments, you may catch glimpses of what's ready to be said or done, but there's no rush. You're allowed to sit with your questions a bit longer. The process is its own kind of clarity, even when the answers are still out of reach. From this place of quiet mental activity, a path begins to unfold. Your internal curiosity and heightened awareness naturally steer the week's events. When you're carrying questions inside, the world responds in kind, subtly, sometimes unsettlingly. The urge to clarify or to be understood becomes a current that shapes the way you move through your days. Conversations may begin to feel layered, as if people are speaking in code, or as if the real subject is just out of reach. You notice more, sense more, and become attuned to undercurrents you might have ignored before. The need for clarity inside you becomes a searchlight, illuminating both answers and fresh uncertainties. The moon marks this unfolding path, casting a silvery, shifting light on everything you encounter. This week, the world may not offer simple explanations. Instead, you're drawn into situations that challenge your sense of certainty. Pressures build in subtle ways, misunderstood messages, ambiguous intentions, or small moments where reality doesn't quite match expectation. There's a dreamlike quality to your days, as if you're moving through fog, just able to make out shapes but not the details. This isn't about deception so much as it is about the complexity of emotions and the limits of logic. You may feel pulled between what you know and what you suspect, between what's tangible and what's sensed. The moon brings momentum, but not the straightforward kind. Events this week seem to bend and twist, revealing new angles on familiar problems. There's friction between your desire for understanding and the reality that some things defy explanation. You might feel the urge to dig deeper, to question motives, your own and others. This can breed anxiety, but it can also create space for revelation. The world asks you to tolerate uncertainty, to live inside the question rather than demanding immediate answers. Sometimes, external pressures, deadlines, expectations, or emotional demands build up until you're forced to acknowledge what you've been avoiding. Yet within that pressure, there's also the potential for subtle shifts in perspective. If you let yourself move slowly, allowing the ambiguity to exist without trying to master it, you may discover that the path itself has been gently preparing you to trust what you feel, even when you cannot see what lies ahead. That sense of uncertainty, though challenging, is not a dead end, it is a threshold. To move through it, awareness must be brought to bear, not as a weapon but as a quiet companion. Your potential unfolds only to the extent that you're willing to be present with both the tension and the not knowing. When you meet the moment consciously, the energy changes. It becomes possible to access a deeper wisdom, one that isn't built on certainty but on trust in your own inner experience. The fog may not lift all at once, but you find your way by feeling rather than forcing. The High Priestess holds this potential gently in her hands. She is not concerned with answers delivered on demand. Her presence is a reminder that you have access to inner guidance, intuition, and a steady sense of self that remains unshaken by external confusion. Growth this week does not come from resolving every ambiguity or pinning down every loose end. Instead, it's found in your willingness to listen quietly to yourself, to let your instincts guide you when logic falls short. There's an invitation here to trust the information that comes not from thinking, but from sensing, the subtle shifts in mood, the quiet knowing that arrives without explanation. The High Priestess does not offer guarantees, but she does open a door to a more peaceful relationship with uncertainty. Sitting in her energy, you might realize that not every question needs an answer, and not every tension needs to be resolved right away. In these moments, you can feel both powerful and at ease, aware of your own depths and willing to move at the pace of your own understanding. Growth becomes possible when you honor your inner timing, letting insight arise in its own time, rather than pushing for resolution out of discomfort. There's a quiet confidence available to you, waiting just beyond the edge of doubt. When you look back across the shape of this week, you might notice how each moment and card weaves into the next. The Page of Swords began with a restless curiosity, a readiness to speak but a hesitancy to disrupt the peace. That questioning energy called forth the shifting, dreamlike path of the moon, where certainty gave way to ambiguity and the world seemed to answer questions with more questions. In the midst of that uncertainty, the High Priestess offers a resting place, a reminder that not knowing is not a flaw but a doorway. You are invited to hold space for your own questions, to let tension exist without rushing to resolve it. There is wisdom in waiting, in listening, in trusting that clarity will come in its own time. Through this process, you may find that you are more resilient than you thought, more attuned to your own needs, and more capable of navigating complex emotions with grace. This week is not about fixing or forcing. It is about allowing, letting yourself be present for your own experience and finding peace in the honesty of that presence. Even when answers remain elusive, you are held by the steady rhythm of your own heart. That is enough. That is more than enough. Actionable insights for Cancer this week. This week's shifting feelings invite you to notice where you hesitate before speaking and to let yourself pause there. You might gently try sitting with uncertainty a little longer than usual, allowing it to settle without needing to solve it right away. You could give yourself a quiet moment each day to check in with what you sense, rather than what you think. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I am present with what I feel, even when it's unclear. Each pause is a chance to discover my own truth. Uncertainty does not undo my strength. I trust myself to move through this week with quiet confidence. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.